Hey guys, it's Lee Hankin here today. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you some outdated cold email advice I'm still hearing. Okay, so this advice is outdated for 2024. And the reason it's outdated is because cold email has changed a lot over the years. I've been doing cold email for clients since 2022, and a lot of things have changed since then. But probably not as many things changed since then. I guess the changes have been more rapid in the last really year in a lot of ways compared to even the previous 3 years from 2020 to 2023. So a lot of things changed. There's a lot of things that are outdated that I still see people talking about and actually recommending people to do, businesses to do part of their outbound lead generation. So basically, in this video, I just want to kind of set that record straight, tell you what I think is outdated cold email advice that you should be ignoring and what you should do instead, okay? And this is all just based from my own practical experiences. Like I said, I do this for clients, so I do this in my own business. Been doing this quite a few years now, so seen a lot of things that work and don't work. So, what is the outdated cold email advice? So, the first one I hear, I still hear this talked about a lot, is volume. So, really, the outdated piece of advice I still hear every now and then is that you can basically split test or have contact volume sizes as small as what you would have 2 years ago. So, to give you an example, without mentioning names, I've heard people talk about, you can have 100, 200 contacts and it's enough to split test a subject line or a different messaging variant. Or you can put in like 1,000 contacts in a campaign, and that's going to be enough to give you like a good sample size to make educated assumptions about like your campaign's performance. Reality is today that's just not really the case. Volume has changed. How you use volume has changed a lot in cold email. Okay, so basically, you need to be doing more. So those kind of numbers I mentioned, like double, triple those. So if you want to be split testing a messaging variant versus like two messaging variants, two subject lines, like you want to have like 500 contacts per messaging variant or subject line. That's just the reality. Campaigns that I'm doing, that I'm running for clients, basically each campaign will have like anywhere from 2.5, 3,000 contacts, sometimes more. Whereas like 2 years ago, I'd might maybe upload 1,000 contacts per campaign. So things have changed a lot regarding volume. The reality is, to get reliable data today in 2024 for cold email, you simply have to actually use or leverage volume more, okay, and push it more. I mean, I had a call with the owner of I think it was a video marketing agency about 3-4 months ago. It was just before the summer. And I remember they were telling me they were testing out cold email, and I think it was they'd reached out to 500 or 600 contacts in 2 months. So, I mean, that's just not going to work in 2024. There's no way you're going to be able to do that effectively. So, so leveraging volume, that's one of the most outdated pieces of advice I hear, is just people not leveraging volume effectively. Okay, so it's changed a lot today. The second thing that is outdated is concerning deliverability. So this has changed absolutely huge amount in the last year. Like, I don't think I've seen deliverability change as much in that kind of short space of time as what I've seen it change in the last year. So, I still see some people saying, oh, you can send 40, 50 emails. I've even actually spoken with people who are saying they're sending like 80, 90 emails a day per inbox. You just can't do that anymore. Like, you're going to absolutely kill your deliverability super fast. So if you want an actual cold email infrastructure that's going to last, that's going to allow you to land in the inbox today in 2024, you got to do things differently. So what do I mean by do things differently? Particularly when it comes to the inboxes and sending volume, you need more inboxes than what you needed 2, 3, 4 years ago. So before, 3 years ago, you could have like 10 inboxes, send 50 emails a day. That's 500 emails a day. Easy, you could do that. I was doing that. Today, there's no way you can do that. Like, to hit that volume, you need more inboxes and lower volume per inbox. So, to give you an example, most campaigns at the moment, we're generally sending as low as 15 emails per inbox. That's the low end. And then on the upper end, about 25 emails per day per inbox. So, yeah, things have changed a lot. In my experiences, from what I've been seeing in the last 2-3 months, that's been working well, at least for me personally. So, yeah, obviously everyone's experiences are going to be different, but my experiences is that kind of range has been working well. I've seen some people saying they're sending 5 emails a day per inbox. In my opinion, again, from my personal experiences, you don't need to send 5 per day. Like, I've found things working well doing 15, 20, 25 emails per day, and just like randomizing that volume every 2-3 days. So for 2-3 days, you might send it 20 emails a day. Then the next 2-3 days, you might send it 15. And then the next 2-3, you might go up to 25. So you just randomize it basically. And I've found that working pretty well. But again, that's just my experiences. I'm just telling you what I found working well. Other things that have changed when it comes to deliverability is like things like, doing regular kind of inbox placement tests, stuff like that. So prior to really this year, I wasn't really doing inbox placement tests. I was kind of just relying on Instantly and stuff like that and their health scores of email accounts, but I realized it's not really that reliable, and deliverability is a lot tougher than what it was. So you really need to do stuff like that as well. But probably the biggest change for deliverability today, I would say, is definitely the volume of emails per inbox. That has changed a lot. So the reality is, if you're hearing people saying to send 40, 50 emails per day per inbox, I can tell you that is very outdated, and that's not going to last in terms of a kind of decent sending infrastructure in 2024. Okay. So that's basically concerning deliverability. So the last piece of outdated cold email advice, the third thing is actually concerning follow-ups. So I've kind of still, okay, some people might disagree with me on this, but I've still seen people saying, like, when it comes to sending follow-up emails, to do the kind of bump emails where you just like, it's kind of, I'm just bumping this email up, or you're just literally sending the person's name with a question mark. That's kind of like what I'm calling a bump email. And I've seen a lot of people recommend that. In my opinion, that is an outdated way to actually do follow-up emails. I did used to do that previously, and I do believe it worked. However, today, I think because cold email is more sophisticated, as in the end users are more sophisticated, and also more and more businesses like sales teams and whatever are using cold email, I don't think this works as well as what it did. Okay. And I think it honestly just pisses people off way more than what it used to. So I do not recommend doing it. I think it's an outdated piece of advice when it comes to sending follow-up emails. Okay. So what I recommend instead to do is to do follow-up emails where you might expand upon a client success story that you mentioned in your step 1 email. Maybe you're sending a link to some piece of collateral. You might even send a link to a case study, maybe a video testimonial, something like that. Okay, so you just kind of, you think of your follow-ups as, how do you boost upon the credibility of what you sent in step 1, and then do that. Essentially, that's my advice, and that's what I think is the better way to do follow-ups in cold email in 2024. So that's pretty much it for this video. They were the 3 outdated pieces of cold email advice I still hear today in 2024. I don't recommend them, and yeah, so my advice is to really make sure that you change the way you do your follow-ups. Make sure you have more inboxes, lower send volume, and also just making sure that you're leveraging volume effectively. Actually you got more contacts than what you need for campaigns. So that's pretty much for this video. Hopefully it was valuable. Stay away from those 3 outdated pieces of advice. And that's pretty much it. If you like the video, do press the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Got any questions about any of these things that I've just run through, just drop a comment and I'll try my best to get back to you ASAP. That's pretty much it. Stay tuned for the next video. See you next time.